All right, so it's been about 7 days since we have grafted our queens and put them in the incubator. I've had 2 that have hatched so far, and I've got another one that's still in the queen cell. So what I'm gonna do is put them in our queen castle here. What I did yesterday was I came out and I took a frame of resources, so honey, pollen, and then I took a frame of brood and I put them in their individual 2-piece chambers. So these bees have now been queenless for about 24 hours. I'm gonna introduce the caged queens in there, and we're gonna see how they go for about 2 days. I'm gonna come back about 2 days from now, and we're gonna just make sure that they've been accepted. We'll release the queens in, and then ideally, in about another 2 days from then, they'll go on mating flights and come back and start laying within another week. So it's gonna be an eventful couple of weeks here. So let's dig into our queen castle. I've always thought they were neat since I've heard about it at the bee club, but really the idea is that it's just 4 small 2-frame hives in a single box. So because we've got in a box 4 sides, right, we've actually got 4 separate entrances here. So you can see on this one, I've got an entrance right here, I've got an entrance here, an entrance here, and some vent holes on this side, and then another entrance here. Now what you may have noticed is that each side is painted a different color, and that's because bees can actually distinguish color. So I'm going to put this out in the yard once some of these queens hatch, and what we'll hope to see is that we'll have some mated queens returned to each side of the box. That's going to give me some additional resources in case stuff hits the fan. You know, a queen dies, I want to expand another hive, you know, any number of scenarios. This gives me a couple of different options. So my idea would be throw a frame of bees in here, some resources, and then drop a queen in. So I've got the ones in there in the incubator. When they hatch, I'm going to put them in the queen cage inside of here for about a day, and then I'm going to release them, and hopefully they'll go out and get mated and come back, and I'll have at least 3 extra queens to be able to kind of play with as I need to for the rest of the season. To give you a look inside, you can see we've just got 1 frame here, but the idea is that we keep them completely separated at all times. So we've got separators in there, and what I'll do when I go out to the yard is I'll just pull one off, work these 2 frames, just take a look around, pull it back in, and you can come back and work the next side and the next side. So you're ready to go really easily. And again, it's just a nice resource hive to have if you want to breed some queens on that side. You can see it just all butts up really nicely there, and then each side is separated from the other. All right, right here you can see I've got my caged queen. I'm just going to introduce her in the cage to the hive and stick her right between the 2 frames. All right, it's been about 15 days. Today's Monday, June 22nd. We're gonna get in and see if we've got any mated queens in here. We're also gonna check our nuke hives to see how they're looking as well. Let's dig in. All right, so if you recall, we put queens, live queens, in 1 and 3 as virgins in their cages. In 2, we put a queen in a cell in there, but it didn't end up hatching. I pulled it apart, it was just a dead larva. But what we saw is that they formed a queen cell in here anyway, and I let that go. So we're going to check all 3 of these right now to see where we're at. Oh, that's beautiful. So you can see our queen right here. She is mated. This is full of eggs and just, you know, very young larvae on both sides. So we've got a mated queen in here. That's 1 for 1. Let's check some more. And remember, again, because it's the queen castle, we need to make sure that we close this hive up. Oh wow, look at that. Here's our other queen. And both of these frames are just covered in eggs and brood right now, and this is looking great. How excellent. So the two queens that we've introduced in here have gone out on their respective exits and returned mated. We've got eggs, larvae, excellent. So we've got two mated queens in here. That's $90 worth from my own genetics. Super excited. The queen rearing has effectively paid for itself just in these two queens. Super excited right now. This is great. So what we're gonna do now is I've done what we call the easy queen rearing method, and I just put some eggs in a queenless hive in both of my nukes. I'm gonna check those real quick to see if we've got any queens. So it's been about 2 weeks for them as well. I was in there kind of messing around last week, and I heard this chirping noise coming out of this close nuke over here. What I was looking up was they said that's a virgin queen will chirp like that to make herself known. Super cool. Couldn't actually find her, but it's been about another week, so I want to check to see if she's been mated or not. So let's dig in on that one as well. All right, so what'd you think? The two different types of queen rearing we just ran over. Where we put the eggs in, I've never really had good luck with that, and today's no different. And then the grafting method that we saw a couple of weeks ago, we went 2 for 2 on that with mated queens. There's actually larvae and eggs in both of those hives. We spotted the queens, they're looking really healthy. So very excited from that front. That's gonna be my method of choice moving forward. And with any luck, we'll have enough bees to go into winter with 6 hives. That's my plan this year, 6 hives. So still got a little bit of ways to go, but that's what we're going to do throughout the rest of this year, is keep expanding. We'll do some mite treatments and make sure that we get to that 6 number. And I may do some rearranging over here. It's a little tight, so we'll see how it goes. But I appreciate you tuning in this week. We'll catch you next time.